බිස්කට් වේදිකාවට දැන් පැමිණි සීඝ්‍රගාමී රසයේ මංචි පොටේටෝ ක්‍රැකර්. බිස්කට් වේදිකාවට දැන් පැමිණි සීඝ්‍රගාමී රසයේ මංචි පොටේටෝ ක්‍රැකර්.
On satellite, on Freeview, on cable, on radio, on mobile, on the web and around the world. This is Other Derana 24/7.
Why resign? Minister of Justice won't step down and says he's unafraid of making a political change. Referendum afoot. Minister Rajda Senaratne hints at a referendum on constitutional draft. More development plans. Prime Minister reveals government plans for a new tourism zone and a development zone. Nadal dumped. First seed makes shock exit at Cincinnati Open. Shown the door. Chief White House strategist Steve Bannon sacked. Bringing you news from home and across the world. This is First at 9 on Other Derana 24/7. Good evening, I'm Katharina Chang. Now moving on to top story tonight, Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe emphasises that the government plans to carry out various development projects that will lay the foundation for a better economy for the next generation. Addressing an event held in Aturilia yesterday, he also went on to elaborate on development projects related to the Hambantota Port and Mattala Rajapaksa International Airport.
There were no ships at the Hambantota port. We have allocated 40 billion rupees to maintain the port so far. We didn't have the money to pay back debt, and that's when we discussed with China. We have a deal with them for 70 years and most criticize the decision, but we get 1.1 billion US dollars from that, which means we can pay off most of the 1.5 billion US dollars of debt to China. Then we discussed with India about the port in Mattala. We can start off the development process once both the port as well as the airport become profitable. The China Merchant Company will bring ships to Hambantota. They even asked us whether we can set up an oil refinery complex for these ships. They're also interested in establishing an LNG power plant in Hambantota. Let's do these projects. Then we have plans to establish a steel plant, a shipyard and a cement factory in Hambantota. There will also be an industrial zone in the area. When it comes to the Mattala airport, a new tourism zone will be created. The best tourism zone in the country is in the south, so we'll allocate 2,000 acres from Bentara to Pitabeddara for a tourism zone. The first one will be established within this year in Deduwa. So, on one hand, economic development related to tourism industry will be there, while on the other hand, we'll have the economic development process through the Hambantota and Mattala projects. There will also be a massive development zone from Kandy to Vallavaya. And then we are planning on having a development zone in Trincomalee. What we are talking here is creating a better economy for the next generation.
Minister of Health Dr. Rajda Senaratne says constitutional amendment might be put to a referendum after it is drafted. The minister made these remarks responding to journalists following the exhibition Encounter Ranil held at the BMICH depicting a photographic memory of Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe's 40-year-long political life.
The final draft has been prepared and that has been discussed. I think in a very short period, the final draft will be completed. Sometimes it may be given to the people of the country to give their choice.
So, Geo says that it will lose in the referendum.
So they always win, no? Even in parliament, they always try say that they will be winning. But every bill, they have been very badly defeated. So it's the same thing with the people. With the people, if there is a new constitution, all will supporting except the Rajapaksa clique. So all other parties will be with us.
Following the recent speculation on Minister of Justice and Buddha Sasana Vijayadasa Rajapaksa, with him being at the centre of a recent party working committee meeting, the minister spoke out today. The minister said that he will not hesitate to make a political change during the transition the country is currently undergoing. He expressed these views addressing a function held at Tiriyaya, Trincomalee this morning. In the meantime, following a function held at the Malwatu temple, the minister told media that there is no necessity for him to resign without any cause.
Minister of Justice and Buddha Sasana Vijayadasa Rajapaksa declared open the water purification facility in Gomaran Kandawala Tiriyaya in Trincomalee this morning.
අපේ රටේ ප්‍රශ්න විසඳන්න ජාත්‍යන්තරේ නඩුකාරයෝ ගේන්න ඕනේ කො මේ රට. අපේ සමහරු ගිහිල්ලා ජිනීවා.
Some said international judges should be involved in solving the issues of the country. When I said war heroes can't be taken before international courts, the top-level politician said I'm a tribesman. The courts will not be influenced by politics. It doesn't belong to politicians. We should protect our resources. Therefore, we, who came to power for 5 years, should know the limits of power. Today, the person who talks about the Sinhala people and try to protect the religion is called a tribesman. Today, we are going through a transitionary period. It's a time when the Buddhist monks and people of this country should come forward and make decisions. We have issues. The party leaders have a responsibility to figure out which politicians are needed for this country.
In the meantime, the new water purification facility in Vanamalgollava Bodhirukarame in Rabava was declared open by the Minister of Justice.
At a time when dengue is spreading rapidly, the Minister of Health doesn't mind even if people die since he has other things to do. He doesn't mind if the university system fails as long as Saitam is there. Now he is the one attempting to control the Attorney General's department and the courts. What couldn't be done by party politics over the last 70 years is not happening under good governance either. Therefore, the people and the Mahasangha should decide on a solution for the issue. During this transitionary period, we will not hesitate in making the necessary political changes to put the country back on the right track.
Later in the afternoon, the minister responded to questions raised by media following a function held at the Malwatu temple in Kandy, where he also made an address.
All the accusations are false and malicious. I've refused ministerial posts given by former presidents Chandrika Bandaranaike and Mahinda Rajapaksa. That was because I couldn't work against my conscience and principles. What is done by my ministry is accepted by the Mahasangha and the people of this country. If a decision is taken on my ministerial post, it's the president who has the right to do so. He has the freedom to make any decision.
Minister of Transport and Civil Aviation Nima Siripal De Silva says the SLFP is prepared to embrace new blood if the old guard is not willing to forge ahead together. The minister made the remarks addressing an SLFP conference in Badula today, adding that the SLFP is ready to face the upcoming election with whoever stands by them.
The Badula District Activists Conference of the SLFP was held at the Post Office Auditorium in Badula today. State Minister of Highways Dilan Pereira also participated in the conference, arriving at the venue following a march with supporters.
We fulfilled a lot of our obligations towards the people of the Uva province. However, we lost not only this electorate but also the district. Now we are all suffering the repercussions of that error. We don't need to discuss those who come in, go or stay. Whoever stays with us, we will rally them together and forge ahead for the people's sake. It doesn't mean we will shut out old faces, but if they don't come forth, we must play the game with new blood. Former President Mahinda Rajapaksa is the leader who ended the war and developed the country. So who made the first move towards his defeat? It was Vimal Weerawansa and not us who said that there was economic pillaging and nepotism within the government and rampant corruption. We, in contrast, often praised Mahinda Rajapaksa.
8 senior superintendents of police, including the director of the Criminal Investigations Department, are promoted to the post of Deputy Inspector General of Police. The police headquarters stated that the promotions were made by the Inspector General of Police with the approval of the National Police Commission.
Accordingly, Senior Superintendents H.K. Ravi Piris in charge of the Anuradhapura Division, M.A.E. Mahindra in charge of the Kandy Division, P.C. De Silva from the Medical Service Division, J.I.D.A. Gunatilaka in charge of the Expressway Division and D.J. Palihakkara in charge of the Mana Division are promoted to the rank of DIG. In addition, the SSP in charge of the Nigambo Division, DMDJT Priyalal, and SC Galapatti in charge of the Gaul Division are also promoted. The police headquarters stated that SSP BRSR Nagahamulla, who was in charge of the Criminal Investigation Department, is also promoted to the rank of Deputy Inspector General of Police.
Consumers complain that traders are fixing arbitrary prices for rice following the removal of the control price. With the best interest of the public at heart, Derana decided to look into the matter.
The Consumer Affairs Authority took measures to fix separate control prices for local and imported varieties of rice on the 4th of this month. However, the authority issued another gazette removing the control price last Wednesday. Minister of Industry and Commerce Rishad Badiuddin also expressed views on the matter during a function held in Vaunia yesterday.
We decided to remove the maximum retail price for imported rice. We have created the background which enables anyone to import rice. Whether it's the private sector or individuals, importers can do so without any issue. Since the control price is removed, we expect the price to decrease. Removing the control price is good if we get stocks for this price. They should import rice so the price will automatically come down. Even if there was a control price, mill owners don't give rice for that rate. It's unfair. The sellers set arbitrary prices.
According to the new gazette, however, the maximum retail price for local and imported rice varieties are removed. Merchants and the consumers thus expressed their views on the issue. Removing the control price of rice is good if we get stocks for this price. They should import rice so the price will automatically come down. Even if there was a control price, mill owners don't give rice for that rate. It's unfair, the sellers set arbitrary prices.
An operation to capture stray cattle is underway within the Western Province under the Megapolis program. The Minister of Megapolis and Western Development says the measures are being taken to prevent traffic accidents caused by stray cattle roaming around major roads.
The program to relocate stray cattle was initiated following complaints received by the Ministry of Megapolis and Western Development. Accordingly, the program is being carried out in various areas of the Western Province with the collaboration of the police, veterinary units, municipal councils and local authorities. Last night's operation was carried out in Mulleriyavu. 12 stray animals were captured yesterday and will be released to a 150-acre cattle shelter in Suryawavu. The Ministry of Megapolis and Western Development says the program will beautify the city of Colombo and prevent traffic accidents due to cattle which have claimed several lives during the past year.
Welcome back to the news. Celebrating the pinnacle of Sri Lankan beauty, the grand finale of Derana of Mark's Miss Sri Lanka Earth 2017 was worked off with Shyamala Hanayaka capturing the coveted title. She is now eligible to represent Sri Lanka at the Miss Earth International Pageant, which will be held in the Philippines in November.
Derana of Mark's Miss Sri Lanka Earth 2017.
The Derana off-marks Miss Sri Lanka Earth pageant was held for the 12th time with around 400 young women from across the country registering. A panel of veteran judges chose 20 contestants, out of whom 9 advanced to the grand finale. The grand finale was graced by Miss Earth Water 2016 Stephanie Dizossi of Venezuela.
You look absolutely stunning.
I'm so happy to be here
Apart from the Derana off-marks Miss Sri Lanka Earth title, 6 other titles were awarded for Best Skin, Best Hair, Best Figure, Beautiful Face, Miss Photogenic and Miss Personality. The second runner-up for the main title was Chalini Shehani.
The second runner-up of Derana off-marks Miss Sri Lanka Earth 2017 is Chalini Shehani. Derana off-marks Miss Sri Lanka Earth 2017. Second runner-up, Chalini.
The first runner-up was Dilrukshi Veeraperuma.
Dilrukshi Veeraperuma.
Winning the title of Miss Sri Lanka Earth 2017 was Shyama Dahanayaka, who will carry Sri Lankan hopes at the Miss Earth 2017 pageant in Manila later this year.
Shyama Dahanayaka.
Derana off-marks Miss Sri Lanka Earth 2017.
Now the sky is clear and all preparations are in place for the Derana International Kite Festival organised by the programme Lokya Saha Lokyo to take flight at the Golf-Face Green tomorrow.
Derana International Kite Festival 2017.
The Derana International Kite Festival will be held tomorrow for the 3rd consecutive year, drawing in thousands of participants from across the world. Kite flying contests will be held under 6 categories and around 3,000 competitors have already registered. Kite enthusiasts have flocked to the island from countries across the world, including China, Hong Kong, the Philippines, Malaysia, the Czech Republic, Australia, Morocco, France and Thailand.
I'm flying a traditional Malaysian kite. This is called moon kite, considered as the most beautiful kite, traditional kite in the world.
Hello guys, this is Karim. Come join us, you're going to see a lot of beautiful kites and you'll probably see mine too.
Hello, I'm Christine, I'm from the Philippines. I am here in Colombo, Sri Lanka to attend the Kite Festival. Please come and join us, see you there.
Further registration of competitors will commence tomorrow at 10 AM and from 1 PM onwards the Golf-Face Green will come alive with the Derana International Kite Festival.
Derana International Kite Festival 2017.
Let's now take a look at some other stories making news across Sri Lanka.
Four persons sustained serious injuries when the driver of their car lost control of the speeding vehicle and crashed into a high-tension power line. The accident occurred along the Boralaskamo-Colombo main road near Pillawa during the early hours of this morning. 2 persons in the vehicle were admitted to the Colombo National Hospital and the other 2 are being treated at the Colombo South Teaching Hospital. A tusker was brought to Sri Lanka yesterday, gifted by the government of Myanmar to President Maithripala Sirisena. The 23-year-old tusker is 8.5 feet in height and was brought to the port of Trincomalee. The trustee at the Temple of the Sacred Tooth Relic in Kandy was at the port to receive the elephant for the temple's elephant stable. Public health inspectors in Hikkaduwa filed cases against 5 shop owners for selling food unfit for human consumption during a raid in the area. The raid was conducted since a large number of people visit Hikkaduwa for the annual festival of the Sinigama Devalaya in Hikkaduwa. Out of the 42 shops raided, cases were filed against 5 shop owners who stored uncooked meat with other food items. A woman died after being hit by a van while using a pedestrian crossing along the Avisawala-Colombo road today. Another individual was admitted to the Colombo National Hospital after being injured in the accident.
On your business story tonight, Minister of Finance and Mass Media Mangala Samaraweera took to quoting former Premier of Singapore, Lee Kuan Yew, who is dubbed the father of Singapore, in explaining the reasons behind Sri Lanka's lack of progress since gaining independence. He quoted the former Singaporean Premier yesterday at a ceremony organised to mark the groundbreaking for the stand at the Torrington Sports Complex.
Lee
Kuan Yew has written about Sri Lanka in his biography. He mentions how developed Sri Lanka was and also lists the reasons for the country's regression. He says that after gaining independence, the country was divided by race, religion and parties. They fought against each other, and as a result of it, a war erupted and lasted for nearly 3 decades. The country which should see more development is now lagging behind every country in Asia. We should put away all our outdated tribal ideals and we should establish a modern economy.
The US has formally launched an investigation into China's policies regarding intellectual property. The move comes after US President Donald Trump asked his top trade official, Robert Lighthizer, to review China's practices, although China has voiced serious concern over the inquiry, which could result in trade sanctions.
US Trade Representative Robert Lighthizer said his office had determined that, quote, these critical issues merit a thorough investigation, unquote, after a review of China's practices related to intellectual property. Analysts say it's a foregone conclusion that evidence of unfair practices will be found, with the cost to the US economy from counterfeit goods, pirated software and theft of trade secrets being estimated at $600 billion a year. Officials will hold a hearing in October as part of the so-called Section 301 investigation, with China already having preemptively warned that it would not sit idle if the US takes actions that impair mutual trade relations.
Top seed Rafael Nadal made a shock exit in the quarterfinals of the Cincinnati Open last night as he was beaten by unseeded Nick Kyrgios. In another upset on the night, David Ferrer beat third seed Dominic Thiem to book his own spot in the quarterfinals, with Grigor Dimitrov and John Isner having qualified earlier yesterday.
The Cincinnati Open will see a semi-final between two unseeded players, as world number 23 Nick Kyrgios swept aside top-seeded Rafael Nadal in straight sets. After claiming the opening set 6-2, Kyrgios held off a Nadal fight-back to take the second 7-5. Joining the Australian in tonight's semi-finals will be David Ferrer, who pulled off another shock straight sets win against third-seeded Austrian Dominic Thiem, 6-3, 6-3.
On to some cricket now. Alastair Cook scored the 4th double century of his career yesterday as England marched to 514 runs for the loss of 8 wickets against the West Indies in the first day night test played in England. The hosts have a 470-run lead at stumps on day 2, with the West Indies losing 1 wicket on their way to 44 runs.
Big beaming smile from Alastair Cook.
Alastair Cook's double century yesterday was his second at Edgbaston and came after he started the day on 153, with England in a commanding position. Cook's partner David Malan managed his maiden test half-century, but was dismissed tamely, and his 65 was in fact the third highest score of the England innings. England managed to lose 5 wickets in the space of 18 overs as they attempted to race towards a declaration, including those of the dangerous Ben Stokes and informed Johnny Bairstow. Cook's eventual dismissal for 243 prompted England's declaration at 514 for 8, and the West Indies' agony was compounded as James Anderson took the wicket of Craig Braithwaite with their score still on 0.
But Powell and Hope have done well to get through to tea unscathed.
In the latest in a string of high-profile departures from the White House, Chief Strategist Steve Bannon has been fired, removing a far-right architect of US President Donald Trump's 2016 election victory and a driving force behind Trump's nationalist and anti-globalization agenda. Bannon's exit follows a review of his position by White House Chief of Staff General John Kelly.
The dismissal of Steve Bannon put an abrupt end to the far-right winger's turbulent tenure, during which he clashed with more moderate factions. White House officials said US President Donald Trump had told Chief of Staff John Kelly to crack down on infighting within the White House, adding that Bannon's fate was sealed by comments made to media in which he spoke of targeting his adversaries within the administration. Bannon said his departure from the White House signals a major shift for the Trump agenda, telling conservative media, quote, "The Trump presidency that we fought for and won is over," unquote.
Let's now take a look at some other stories making news across the world.
Spanish police are on a manhunt for the driver in Thursday's van attack that killed 14 people in Barcelona. A man previously reported as the key suspect, 17-year-old Musa Kabir, was one of 5 men killed by police after a later attack in Cambrils, west of Barcelona. Police say the suspects had been planning more sophisticated attacks. 2 people were killed and at least 6 others wounded in a stabbing attack at a market square in southwestern Finland yesterday. Police shot the suspected attacker and arrested him, and today said they are investigating the attack as a crime related to terrorism. And today, 8 people were wounded in a knife attack in the Russian city of Surgut. Russian security sources report that the attacker stabbed passers-by on the street at random and was shot dead by police.
Let's cross over to Shana Fernando at the Ada Derana Weather Centre with the forecast for the next 24 hours.
A very good evening and welcome to the Weather Centre. Now, temperatures may vary between 20 and 35 degrees Celsius over the next 24 hours. Fairly strong winds can be expected in areas of the Uva, northern, north central and northwestern provinces and Matale, Ampara, Nuwara and Hambantota districts and surrounding sea areas. Showers can be expected in the Sabaragamuwa and central provinces and in the Kalutara, Galle and Matara districts. Up next is your city by city forecast.
And before we go, we'd like to take you to China, where the country's largest sand sculpture was opened recently. The park, which currently displays 70 sculptures, also boasts the largest single sand sculpture in the world, W Land Kingdom. With that, we come to this end, this edition of Your First at 9. Thank you for joining us and have a pleasant evening.
Bringing you the news and information 24 hours a day. This is Sri Lanka's premier news channel, Ada Derana 24/7.